Hello, lovely Algebra 1 students. We're working on solving equations with variables on both sides. And I just wanted to let you know that out of all the topics in this unit, this one gave us the most issues last year. And it's something that you're going to use in geometry. It's actually really important that you know how to solve equations with variables on both sides. So this is split up into two parts. This will be a little easier. I'm going to talk concepts, and then I'm going to do some examples, and then of course you'll do your independent practice examples. And then on part 2, we'll add some of the multi-step stuff, and it won't be too bad. So I'm not going to check the box today because we got 2 videos on this objective. So variables on both sides, we're used to seeing one x over here, but in this case we have an x on the left side of my equal sign, and we have an x on the right side of my equal sign. So we got 3 x's on the left, which we is modeled in our balance, and plus 1. And then we've got 2 x's on the right, and plus 3. So that's modeled very nicely. What you're going to end up having to do is you're going to deal with the variables first. You're going to take care of those variables. You're either going to subtract them, add them, whatever, so that you only have variables on one side. So, add or subtract the variables on both sides of the equal sign. So, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So, we have 3 x's over here on this left side and 2 x's on the right side. So I'm going to subtract, and to keep it balanced, I'm going to subtract 1x from the left, 1x from the right, 2 x's from the left, 2 x's from the right. So what that looks like in my equation is I'm going to subtract 2 x's from the left, 2 x's from the right. Well, you can see from the picture quite clearly, talking like crazy, there's only 1 x left over, right? Because 3x minus 2x is 1x, or just x. Then we also still have that 1. We didn't do anything with it. On the right side of my equal sign, we took off both x's. 2x minus 2x in the algebra, you can see that those cancel, and we're just left with 3. So 3. I'm going to rewrite that on the next slide. So x plus 1 equals 3. Now it's just a simple one-step equation that we're very, very good at this point, hopefully. And we'll take 1 off the left, 1 off the right. So minus 1, we're left with x equals 2. Okay? So that's really not too bad. Again, you need to deal with the variables first. So for the following equations, we want to deal with the variables only. So all I'm going to do is mess with the variables, and so I get all the variables either on the left or on the right. It honestly does not matter which way you do it, as long as you deal with it properly. So in the first one, I've got 5x minus 2x, so 5x and negative 2x. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. If I take 5x away from the left side, I'm going to take 5x away from the right side. 5x minus 5x over here, that cancels, and we're left with negative 2. Then over here I have negative 2x and negative 5x. Those combine to give me negative 7x, and then we still have that plus 14. So now it's set up like a two-step equation. We're just normal, and we're used to that, so we're good to go. Okay, and we're only doing the first step. In this one, I'm going to do the opposite. So instead of subtracting 2x from both sides, like I could have done, I'm actually going to add. So I'm going to mess with this negative 2x. We got minus 2x. The opposite of minus 2x is plus 2x. Plus 2x. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. You see how it's balanced still? 2x plus 2x is 4x. And then we still have this minus 5. On the right side, I've got negative 2x plus 2x. Those cancel, and we're left with this negative 1. I'm going to rewrite that nicer. 4x minus 5 equals negative 1. That's it. Then we'd solve it normally, of course, but dealing with the variables first is the most important part. When you see a variable on both sides, you got to deal with those first. So get the variables to one side, and then the rest is just like normal. So now I'm going to actually go through and finish it out. So I want to deal with the variables first, just like it says. That's why I give you some of these instructions. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides this time, minus 2x. So 2x minus 2x is 0x, that's gone. We have negative 5 left over because I didn't touch that. Then on my right side, I've got negative 2x and another negative 2x, which gives me a grand total of negative 4x. And then we have minus 1. So now I can set up my chart to help me out because we're doing our order of operations to x. We've got negative 4 times x. So this is, by order of operations, we would multiply by negative 4 first, and then we would subtract 1. And we're going to undo that by going the opposite way. So instead of doing minus 1, we're going to undo that with plus 1, and then we're going to divide by negative 4. So let me change the color. So we're going to do plus 1 on the left, or the right, plus 1 on the left. I did it to both sides. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. And then we're left with negative 4 times x. So that was this step. Done. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. So divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is just 1. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1. So we got 1x or just x. So our answer is x equals 1. You could plug it back in and check for sure. Next, I'm going to deal with the variables first. So this time I feel like subtracting from the right side. So you can see that we have 4k. I'm going to subtract 4k. If I subtract 4k from my right side, I need to subtract 4k from my left side. So 7k minus 4k is 3k. We still have this plus 2. And 4k minus 4k is 0k. That's gone. And then we have minus 10. So we're going to do our order of operations to variable k this time. We've got 3 times k, so we're going to do times 3 first. And then we do plus 2. And then we undo that backwards. So we can undo that with minus 2 first, and then divide by 3. So subtract 2 from the left, subtract 2 from the right. I've got 3k, 2 plus 2 minus 2 cancels. Negative 10 minus 2 is negative 12. So that was this step. And now we're going to divide by 3. So divide by 3, divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we got 1k equals negative 4. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. You can check your answer by plugging it back in 4k. I think there's one more. Yep, this is the last one. So same thing. I'm going to deal with my variables first. So this time I'm going to subtract 2y from my left, subtract 2y from my right. So 2y minus 2y is 0y. I got rid of variables on my left side. I still have negative 4 equals 3y minus 2y is just 1y or y. Right? We could write 1y like that, but we just need a y. We don't need both. Those are the same thing. We also have that minus 5. We're going to do our order of operations to variable y. So we can undo that order of operations with, we're doing minus 5. So we undo that minus 5 to the y with plus 5. And that's a one-stepper. Plus 5 on both sides of my equal sign. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1. We have our y. Negative 5 plus y is, or plus 5 is 0. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. That cancels. So our answer is y equals 1. You can plug that back in for y, and you'd be good. So I did just under 10 minutes of video, which is awesome. That's our goal. Do your independent practice, and of course, remember to ask questions. See you later.